Hi everybody, welcome back to Dynamic Forms Studio. My name is Leandro. I'm excited to be back. Just a quick reminder, if you are watching this video on Instagram, you're only gonna be able to see the first minute of it because that's how long I guess I can post a video on Instagram. So if you want to watch the full video or the first two videos of the class, you can go to my Patreon page, my Facebook profile, or my Facebook page. I posted on all these different social media sites, so you guys feel free to choose which one you want to go with, and also YouTube. Everything under Dynamic Forms Studio. You can find my accounts online, so go ahead and check that out. I just want to say that I am excited to start the second lesson today. We had our first lesson was right around 37 minutes, almost 40 minutes. I want to keep it short so it's not too long, not too boring for you guys. Hopefully you were able to follow me to this point. Hopefully you have your materials, the things that you need to get to the point that I am at right now. So what we're going to do today is just continue from where we stopped. I haven't done anything since, so the sculpture is still in the same stage that you guys saw from when we last finished the first lesson. I want to say that if you would like to follow the account on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Patreon, please do so. Help me out. The more subscribers I get on YouTube, the more you guys are going to help me. So if you can share the video with your friends and people that you know will be interested in learning how to create a statue, collectible statue, please feel free to share, feel free to subscribe, and give me a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, I understand. You're welcome to give me a thumbs down. It's up to you guys. But don't forget to do that, please. Just remember to subscribe and share, and especially on YouTube if you guys don't mind. Anyways, let's get to what's at the hand, right? What's important right now. So again, here's our figure that we started on the first lesson. All we did was we traced the measurements here, and we just got a rough idea of the size of our sculpture. That's all we did in the first video. Okay, when I was roughing the figure around the picture here, I was marking my shoulders, under my armpits. Okay, I also did a little bit here on the groin of the sculpture. Okay, and a little bit on the chest, so you know, in the neck. Nothing too crazy, because this stage of the sculpture, it's very loose. We're just creating the figure. We're not worrying about details. We're not worrying about crazy anatomy at this point. We're just trying to get a figure built so we can work with. Right now, as you can tell, it's very thin. Look, it's almost paper thin, right? So we need to bulk it up a little, and that's what we're going to do. This is lesson number 2, and on this lesson we are going to continue to build our figure here, and maybe we're going to give a little bit of curves to it. We'll see what we can do, but at this point we need to start filling it up, because his back is completely flat, as we can tell. So is his front. So let's go ahead and work on that. Get your wax going, get your clay soft. Let me move this out of the way here. Okay, was very hot, so I just want to make sure. Okay, it's not very hard anymore. So there we go. I think it'll be fine to work with. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get some chunks of clay out of the pan there. Let me just fix the temperature real quick. Just got to put a little bit more right around here. We'll be fine. Okay, my skillet, it's not very hot. The material is very easy to work with when it's warm, like a little bit warm to the touch, nothing extremely hot, no need for that. So we're gonna get our picture here of Ultraman. We're just gonna leave it to the side for now. We don't need it at this point. We are going to need a little bit of fire. So we're gonna use our alcohol torch again. Leave it running here. And all we're gonna do now is add a little bit of mess to this sculpture, okay? So all I'm gonna do, and to have a good adhesion between the two. See, right now it's not really gluing. I can make some contact. It's soft, but it's not really staying there very well. So just so we have a good bond between the two pieces that we are creating, we're just gonna warm up under the fire here. We're gonna warm up the chest for a minute here. Just a little bit until it gets a little shiny. See right there, it's starting to get a little shiny. Then warm up your clay that you have on your hands, and that's how we're gonna build, okay? We're gonna just start. Let's put a little bit of mass here on this chest. I'm not worried about anatomy one more time. I'm just creating. I see I didn't even put much there. I just put a little bit. Okay. Let's try to bring this here a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Bring my pen a little closer. Here we go. So I can keep grabbing. So don't go too fast at this stage. We want to bulk it up. We want to build the figure without overdoing it. There's no hurry at this point. You have to be patient and grab yourself a little bit of the material again. And that's what we're doing. Just break it up. Don't forget to warm up both parts on the fire. Warm it up, melt it up a little. Don't go too crazy, and then you push it against it. Okay? All right. I'm trying to give him a little bit of a chest here. That's good enough for now. Okay. Now, right here, you always keep your anatomy in mind, but you don't have to be so critical at this point. I know I've been saying don't worry about anatomy at this point. You always keep that in mind, but don't be critical in the sense that, oh, this looks nothing like a chest. Don't worry, that's not the phase that we worry where we want this to look like a chest. So I'm just gonna warm up real quick the clay on the fire again. Warm up his belly here. And I'm just gonna do this, just like right there. Just gonna put a little bit of clay right here. Just like that. That's good. My arm is it's coming loose here. So what I'll do, I'll grab a little bit more, and let's put a little bit of shoulder to keep the arm from falling off the sculpture at this point. So again, I just warm up on the fire, make sure it's shiny and let it melt for a second. Get your clay, let it melt a little bit, and do the connection. There you go. See, I'm just doing a little shoulder to prevent the arm from falling off, because it was trying to fall off. And at this point, it doesn't matter if it goes up or down. It's okay. We're not worried about that right now. So try to stay in camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. That's good. It's still soft, so it'll take a few minutes to cool off and then get hard. So let's keep going. Gonna get a little bit more, and I want to do the same thing on the other shoulder. So I'm gonna warm up the sculpture on the fire. It's a little bit melted. There we go. Let it melt a little bit more. That's good. Always remember to warm up both parts, okay? You just want to have a good fusion between the two pieces you're adding. Otherwise, it's gonna start delaminating and breaking off on you. So I'm not worried about anatomy. One more time. We're just trying to put mass. But I put a lump of clay here, a lump of clay here, a lump here, a lump a little bit here on the chest, and that's all we're doing right now. At this point, it wouldn't hurt if we kind of separate the arm a little bit from the torso. Just push it out a little bit so we have more room around here. Okay? That's what I did there. Just try to separate it a little bit. Cool? All right, let's keep going here on the back. Yeah, let's do that. Let's warm up the body here, the back. Oops. Just warm up the back real quick. Get some clay. So just gonna work the clay here on my hands real quick. And all I want to do here is maybe create a little bit of trapezius to hold the neck and all. Okay, so warm up again. I think this will be too much. Let's make a little bit less. This is good enough. I'm gonna warm up one more time on the fire, and then I'm gonna warm up my piece, and I'm gonna do like this. Just gonna try to do something like this right now. Okay, that's it. That's good enough. We're gonna go slow. It's still very thin, but you want to go layer by layer, nothing too fast, because you want to make sure you're doing a good job while you're building the figure. If you go too fast, it will break it off. It will be easy. So you want to do a solid build right now, because you want to do like a solid build, because we are not, this is not, very strong. And if you do too fast or didn't do a good connection as you add on, it will probably fall apart on your hands. So let's just go slow on this process, okay? It's definitely an interesting material. Maybe need to crank it up again a little bit. Let me just get the heat up a little. Like right here should be fine. There you go. Now that I have the lid off the skillet, it is getting cold, hard faster, because it's losing some of the air. So again, we're just warm up the sculpture on the fire, on the area that you want to add more material. Warm up your piece, and there you go. Okay. All right, so I think that's okay now. It's not enough. We need to add more soon. But here's one thing. I want to make sure, I know we started filling up the top first, but in truth you want to start with the legs. We want to start with the legs first. So let's put some legs. Let's work on the legs, okay? On the back of the legs. Oh my, it got too hard too quick. Let's see what's going on here. It is so messy. I don't know if I like messiness of this clay, but I like the clay. I'm not gonna say anything bad about it other than it is really messy. But it is a good clay. I like the way it behaves when it's not messy. Okay, so let's warm up here on around his back. Warm up a little bit more. I'm gonna warm up my piece. See, it's almost to the point that it's melting. That's what you want. That way you have a good connection between your add-ons. Every time you're adding to the sculpture, don't forget to warm up both parts on the fire. That way you have a good solid fusion. Alright. Maybe what I should do, let me see here. Maybe I should go up a little bit more. Again, maybe too much now. Here we go. Just gonna use my tool here to get the chunks. Okay, so let's work on the back of the thighs here. On the back of the leg. Oops. Let's get this warm. Just warm it up until I see it's shiny and starting to melt a little. Don't hold it for too long on the same position. Okay. And I warm up again. That's good. Try to stay within your lines when you add. Try not to go outside the lines that we traced for the figure. Okay. Let's put a little bit on the other leg as well, but let's warm up the leg. That's good. Then I'm gonna warm up my clay. So this first part is very boring and it takes a while, but it's a very important part that you can't just rush through it, because you want to build the figure nicely in order to have a solid piece. I can separate the legs just a little bit at this point. I'm separating the legs a little bit. Okay. So I'm just gonna use my tool here and make sure I separate the legs for just a moment here. Yep, there you go. It's good enough. Okay, let's try to give him some calves. Sorry, I don't know if I'm staying on. Let me move this way so it's a little bit more where it should be. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the camera to see if the figure is on camera. So I'm gonna warm up the back of his leg here and give him a little bit of a calf right now. There we go. That's good. I don't want anything bigger than this for now. That should do it. Okay. Gonna do the same thing to the other leg right now. Give him the calves. Ooh, it is so messy. I just wish I probably didn't get the temperature right yet. Gotta figure this out. Let me put it down for a minute. So we're gonna see if we go more than 40 minutes this time. I think we may have to get to the next stage. I'm not sure. We'll see how long we can go. Always warm up the two pieces on the fire before you add on. There we go. This stage is very messy, doesn't look like anything, but don't worry again. Just make sure you don't go too out of the trace, the lines that we traced. There we go. I think that's good enough. So I'm pulling the arms to the side, the legs apart a little. That's good there. Okay, at this point, it's very nice because if you look, I put the calves right, very roughly. And that's okay. We don't want anything too precise again. But he's starting to have some move, some curvature to it. See, now I'm trying to give him a little bit of a curvature because we don't stand we're not a flat thing, right? Our body has moves like in certain ways, has curves, and so right now I'm already taking advantage of what's happening. And I'm giving him a little bit of a, a curve, like kind of how our body normally behaves. I can feel that the sculptor is very weak in this area right now. So, and you're gonna feel it while you're building your figure, which areas are a little fragile at this moment. So let's go ahead and make sure we reinforce this area real quick. See, like the leg is moving. Watch. Try to show you guys what I'm saying. See, the leg is moving on its own. I don't want it to fall off. I want to make sure I give. So I'm gonna try to warm up this area, and then add a little bit more material to help reinforce it. Get some clay. Here we go. Ooh. I don't know if this formula has sugar in it. I don't know. My only complaint about the material at this point is the smell. Ugh, it doesn't smell great. I can tell you that. Okay, let's see if we can use the alcohol torch to warm up this area. That's good. Then I'm gonna warm up the clay. I want to reinforce this area. But I want to reinforce it being careful not to go out of my line, the trace that we did. Okay, so see, I don't want it to go outside the trace that we did, the paper trace that we did. Okay, so maybe we can give them a little volume here on the back. Here we go. Okay, hopefully this will as it cools off, maybe this will reinforce this leg. It will avoid falling off. Okay, so there we go. We're gonna go ahead and, so I can kind of bend the knees a little bit forward. Okay, top of the leg back, and then body this way. So see, I'm starting to give him a little bit of movement. Nothing too, we can push the back this way, I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. So just very minimum, nothing too aggressive. See, he's leaning forward, so you come here and you just say stand straight and work with it. That's good. Okay, let's go ahead and put some reinforcements on the front here of the leg. It's trying to fall off. Okay, good. Sometimes you may have to just let your sculpture sit still for a little bit. I forgot to say and show you guys that I'm out of what I'm gonna share at this point. I forgot to say that you can get those desk cans that it's a duster. I think it's a duster. You can use those duster cans that normally you can find them at computer or office supply stores, like to just dust your keyboard. If you flip that duster upside down and spray your sculpture, it sprays like freezing air and it cools your sculpture off very quickly. So maybe I'll get one just to show what I'm talking about, because sometimes you don't want to be there waiting and waiting and waiting for the clay to cool off. And that's using the duster upside down. It's a way to quickly freeze the area that you need to be hardened right away. Okay, let's do the same thing here on the front of the leg. Just warm up, get the fire going, make it melt a little. Good. And then warm up the clay as well. Sorry, I know I'm repeating myself so many times about the same thing over and over, but that's this stage of the sculpture. You just have to keep warming both parts that you're adding. Every time you do a new add-on, warm it up, both parts. It's good. Slowly, but we're getting there. Okay, I think this, once this cools off a little, it will help keep the leg in place, not bending or trying to fall off anymore. Okay, let's put a little bit of thigh on the other side as well. Ooh, let's see. Gotta remember, fire. Ouch. Okay, let's get this much here. This should be good. Well, maybe we will use all this. I don't know. I thought I had a lot of clay, but now that we're adding on, it looks like it's thinning up. Okay, so I'm gonna do same process again. Just warm up the area here. Warm up the area with the fire where you want to add more clay. Warm up the clay and push it against it. I'm just making sure I don't make something too bulky. I'm still trying to keep the legs, you know, at a certain half a circle shape. That's all I'm doing, people. I'm not trying to create any anatomy at this point. We're just bulking it up. Good. I like what we're doing so far. Okay, so I can go ahead and push back a little bit here and try to give him a little bit of life, right? Because he's too stiff. So there we go. That's good. So he's not as flat as he was anymore. He's starting to get some curves and starting to work. So let's keep working on the leg here. I'm gonna add a little bit more to this area. real quick. There we go. Perfect. This material really adheres to itself very nicely, especially if you do what I'm doing here, which is warm up both parts before you add on. Great, it worked great. Awesome. Good. Okay. As we add more and more material, it also gets harder to move the piece, like to, let me warm up the knife here real quick. Here we go. I always like to make sure I know where the separation is. Right there. Always do this. Even though we're gonna cover with more material, always keep a little reference where you are as far as his joints here. Okay. The legs are starting to get some body to them. Let's keep going. Now, it's been almost, I think it's been 30 minutes already. Oh yeah, 30 minutes. Okay, well, time flies, huh? So let's keep working on the bottom. I'm gonna get a little bit more this time on my hands here. There we go. Okay. So this time I'm gonna give him some abs. Let's put some clay here around the abs. So let's warm it up. Warm up your piece. I'm just gonna put a lump there like that for now. And then you come with your own hands and just model it up. Model it up. I don't know if that's how you say it. As you can tell, I mean, you probably noticed by now that I have an accent. English, it's not my first language, so it's a little tricky for me to have the right words or the right pronunciation, so forgive me if I cannot pronounce a few words. All right, so all I'm doing here, let me try to show the shape. See the shape that I'm doing? Trying to put a little bit of mass on his abs right now. And that pushed the chest back a little, see? So that we can see that he needs a lot more mass here on his chest. So let's go ahead and do that too. Here we go. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna warm up again. I'm gonna use this whole lump of clay I have in my hands to create the chest. Okay, so use your knife, warm it up. Push it down a little bit from the neck and just do a line in the center, nothing too precise. Just put a little line on the center and kind of make a little shape like this. It's just to remember where our chest should be. That's good. Let's put a little bit more. Warm up again. Okay, that's good. Now we're bringing his chest forward. I'm trying to stay in this area right here. I'm not trying to go out of this area. And I'm always like keep it in. Don't try not to go over your shoulders, because what you don't want to do at this stage is lose your trace, the trace that you did of the figure on the first part of the process, okay? So make sure you keep your clay within the trace that you did. Okay, that looks good. Let's give him a little bit more mass here on the back and on this leg as well. There we go. That's good. I think I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Always use your knife to push the material within the lines. If you need to warm it up, do, because then it doesn't glue to your tool. So all I'm doing here is just rounding it up. No, not worrying too much about much other than making sure I have a round shape, an oval shape, because that's how kind of our legs are. Right? It's not just a lump. So we're gonna put a little bit more on the other leg now. Let's warm it up. This time I put down a lot of material, which is okay because I can manipulate and push it up. That's what I'll do, just push towards the back. But that's good there. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on this other leg. Just gonna warm up my knife here, get it a little warm, and then do a half a circle. Try to show you guys what's going on here. See, I'm just adding clay to the back of the legs. Let's see if he can stand. Always try it out, make sure he stands on its own, and he is, so that's good. It's good news. Okay, that's awesome. It's getting a little weak here on the ankle area. So what I'll do is just put a little bit of material to keep from falling. Okay. One more time on the fire, and then I'm gonna add to the ankle here like this. So warm up your knife and reinforce the ankles because we are adding clay to the body and the body is getting heavier, and if this area here of your ankles are too thin, your figure will not be able to stand on its own. So make sure you reinforce the ankles. And that's why you want to start with the legs before you go up to the torso as far as adding material, because you don't want it to be those skinny legs that we had in the beginning with a bunch of weight here, because the moment you do this, your sculpture will fall off and it will probably break in half because the upper body will be too heavy and the legs won't have enough mass to hold the weight. So always start with the legs first, okay? That's what I would recommend. Just go add some mass to the legs before you go up to the upper body. This is good. Again, I'm using a knife, warming up just to do a round shape. I can put him down real quick and then push it like that. There we go. That's good. I'm just trying to reinforce the ankles a little bit. Let's see if he stands again. That's what you want. You want your figure to stand on its own. So periodically check, make sure he stands. And at this point, if the ankles are soft, squeeze it, make the legs the same size if needed. And you know, use your sense of anatomy, use your sense of how does a person stand. Is it stiff? Is it, you know? So make sure you use your common sense as far as posing and standing. That's all I'm doing here. Okay. So that's good. He continued to stand on its own. We don't have that flat, see? He's not straight flat like a picture anymore. So that's good. Let's add a little bit more material to the knees, because now this is heavy, this is a little heavy, but the knees are weak. So let's put a little bit of material on the knee area, reinforce it right now. Just gonna get the back of his knee. There we go. That's good. Just want to put a little bit of material right there behind the knee. Let's do the same thing to the other leg. Good. That's good. Okay, I'm just rounding it up, nothing too specific, and making sure it connects. We have a nice bond between the add-on here. That's good. All right. Okay, let's let the legs rest for a minute, and let's work on the back. Let's give them more volume on the back right now. Remember to be patient at this stage. Don't add too much that you feel like you lost your primary trace out of the picture. You want to make sure you always have a little reference. See, even though we're adding more clay, I'm still within the lines that we trace. And add a little bit more here to the back. In the back, you wanna put volume there and come this way, because around our wrist, we're not gonna do like a block, like fill it up to the point that it's going straight. We're gonna go slowly building and coming out this way. Well, you guys leave me on the comments there. It's been 45 minutes. Let me look. Yeah, it's been 45 minutes. You guys let me know if you, I don't know. I mean, I meant to do, I want to do the videos where you see everything. And even if it takes long, at least you've seen everything I'm doing. But it is boring, right? I hope you guys can cope with me on this video. This video is not very exciting. But let me know in the comments if you guys think I should just finish filling it up off camera and then come back with the figure all filled up. I'm not sure. I just don't want to make boring videos. But the beginning, it's always a little, you know, slow, as you can tell. We've been here for 45 minutes and I still don't have the whole figure filled up with clay. But let me know if you guys think it's, you got it. You just let me know, say, hey, we got it. We don't need more of the same on the next video. We can just go to the next step. Please let me know in the comments, because I can do the rest off camera and then show you the next step. If I don't hear from anybody, I'm just gonna keep going the way I'm doing, just every single step on camera. I'm not gonna do any shortcuts. You're gonna see every step. So let me know, okay guys? Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, my Instagram. Everything's under Dynamic Forms Studio, so feel free to subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you think of this class, if it's helping, if you have any questions. Here we go. He's starting to be, it's starting to gain some body mass here as we add more and more. So that's good. I'm gonna do a little bit more on the back. Okay, that's good. If you want, you can just warm up your knife, give it a rounder shape, just like we did with the legs. See, just give it a rounder shape. If you want, you can draw a line in the middle, because we have our spine right here in the back. Okay, and then after you put clay there, you can just divide it like this. Okay, just for reference. Right here you do this and you do this. Okay, just do a little bit of a cut there. So it's your call, but I would do a little cut here right in the center to make sure I have my two halves of the body. Because then again, we're not a block, right? There's curves and we're gonna put the muscles. It'll be very subtle on this figure because he's not a muscular character. He's strong, but he's more like of a athletic kind of looking figure, I'd say. So we're not gonna have crazy bulky bulging out muscles on this sculpture. He's gonna be very subtle, very classic, very athletic looking. That's what I'm shooting for. Not like bodybuilding kind of looking muscle anatomy on this particular character. So there you are. I just did a little cut in the middle and I pushed this to the sides. That's all I did. Just go ahead, do a little cut in the middle, push to the sides gently, warm up your knife on the fire, and then do a little cut here around the lower back, And he should have a little bit of a, let's give him some, let's give him a little bit of cushion. So when he sits down, he's not so flat. Okay, let's give him a little bit of a cushion here. Put a little bit of the buttocks in place. We're gonna do the same thing. Warm it up. Boom, put the lump right there. Okay. And then look, I just put a lump of clay right there where his buttocks should be. And then you just warm up your knife. Once more, cut it in half and push it to the sides. This time we're gonna kind of push it up and then push it down over here. Okay, push it a little bit up. Oops, my knife's too cold now. There you go. All right, that's good. Don't worry too much, okay? It doesn't have to look perfect. It's just for reference. And then you do a little squeeze right here on the bottom. Just do a little squeeze. There you go. It's just for reference, so we know where things should be. Okay? There we go. We're doing it. Okay. Let me see here. Well, I think I'm gonna come to a stop. I don't know, it's been almost 1 hour now since we start the lesson. I think we should stop and come back later. All I'm doing now, I'm just moving things around, just making sure he's solid. It looks like he's solid on the legs, so that's good. Let's see if he still stands. Look, still stands, so that's very important. Make sure your figure continue to stand as you go along. Take a moment and clean up the edges. And by clean up the edges, I mean make sure you go back to your trace, your initial trace that you did. Make sure there's nothing sticking out. That way you have still those shapes that we first started with. Okay, there we go. Looking good here on the side. I'm going to push it in a little. That's good there. Okay. And then here on the chest, we can try to do the same thing we did on the back. Put a line right in the center and push it to the sides. Just so we know we have the center of the chest right there. That's good. If your figure is crooked somehow, now it's a good time for you to manually push it to the right, to the left, whatever you need to do, because you know sometimes it moves as you handle it. It keeps moving, so you can go out of shape pretty quickly. So if you need to get back in the same original shape, it's a good time to do it now, because your clay is still warm, still soft. That's good. Okay. That's pretty good. I'm gonna do 5 more minutes. We'll stop at an hour, okay? I'm gonna do a little bit more on the back because he doesn't have enough. So we're gonna do a little bit more material on the back. Just put a big lump, and I'm gonna do the same thing I did a few minutes ago, where I'm gonna trace a line on the back. Trying to have the same quantity on both sides here, just eyeballing it. think it looks better now that I add more material. So again, warm up your knife. Try to do it. So warm up your knife, make that little center line, then go to one side, to the other side. Okay, and then right here, go this way. That way you go that way. That's good. Okay. I think it's a little bit better now. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys this before we finish the lesson real quick. I know I keep saying don't worry about anatomy, don't worry about the anatomy at this point, but it is important to have it in mind. Okay, so right now, let me see if I can show this very nicely on camera. See this line here from the middle of his back. I'm going to try to show you guys what I'm talking about. So here's the center of his back, and then you're going to come this way, and then towards his thigh right there. Boom. So we're going to do like this movement. Okay, as I said, our bodies have movement, right? So if you want your sculpture not to look stiff and standing still like hard, you gotta create this movement right here. Okay, so all of our muscles, all of our anatomy is very harmonious, I guess, which means it moves very gracefully. And then if you can get that translated into your sculpture, that's what makes it so cool. I mean, that's what makes it look nice, and it gives, you know, life to your sculpture. So remember, there's a line goes from here and then goes right there and then to the front of the thigh right there. See, so there's always this movement going on. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm talking about, but that's a little bit of anatomy there. Not much, but a little bit. Okay, so remember that from the center of the back here, you go down towards the waist, go in front, and then goes right here. Okay, there you go. And then you can just kind of move it a little. There you go. All right, I like that. I think we made good progress. Right here, just push it in like this. Push it in. Oops, there you go. Just push it in a little bit between his buttocks and the leg. Okay, again, not perfect, not worried about that, but we want things to be kind of in the right place already. Even though we're not worrying too much about anatomy, you do have to have your build in the right direction. And there we go. He still stands on its own, so that's great. All right, guys, I think we're gonna call it today. And once again, thank you very much for watching the video. I appreciate all of you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, to my Patreon account. Please donate if you can. Help me out if you like these videos. I will make more videos if this pin out to be a good thing. If I have some financial help, I can keep buying more material and producing more and more videos, and I hope you guys can help me out. But for now, this is it today. Thank you again. I appreciate it. We'll see you on lesson 3 Okay, pretty soon, maybe tomorrow I can have the next lesson. We'll see. I'm trying to do things as time allows me to. Appreciate you guys again. Have a great night. We'll see you next time on lesson 3. Bye everyone. Thank you.